You're welcome to another exciting episode of Lagos City Pulse. And we are still on the matters of the election and governance across local governments in Lagos. And I have with me in the studio very proactive, very energetic, very vocal guests that know the in and out of Lagos to discuss about these matters. Very close to me, I have Abolaji Adebayo. Is a veteran journalist, the former editor, Echo News newspaper, currently the tech editor of News Telegraph newspaper, and also the editor, the Liberation News, an online news platform. You're welcome, Mr. Bolaji.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you for having me.
between Abolaji and my other guest is a face that you start getting used to on Lagos City Pulse, and that is Comrade Elijah Ajanu Ojo. He's a civil rights activist and is here again on Lagos City Pulse. Thank you very much.
It's a good pleasure to be here.
Then we have from Surulere, the publisher Surulere Watch, Chinedu Nwandu. You're welcome to be on the program. Okay, so I haven't gone with the introduction. Let's quickly get to the business of the day. Um, my first question, and that goes to Surulere Watch. How do you rate outgoing governance or government across local governments in Lagos State?
Below average from my own assessment.
And why do you say so?
Yeah, I've been in the business of searching information and getting information for close to 20 years. And the truth is, what you can actually see or physically on what they do in terms of infrastructure and in terms of giving back to the people is far less to what they get from even the state government, that's from revenue and from allocations. So in fact, the for me, local government seems to be an aperture of where people just go in, sit, and wait for allocation to come. And as it comes, it takes just 1 week for the money to be, disbursed among themselves. So if you ask me again, I'll say it's below average.
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very strong position by Surulere Watch. Mr. Bolaji, what do you think?
Okay, governance at the local level in Lagos State, um, anyway, is not up to the expectation of the people in Lagos State to say. And if we look at it, if you are in, you know there are some factors causing this, which, if time permits, we can, to some extent, elaborate on. Because if you look at those at the aims of affair at the local government level, majority of them are there as stooge.
Mm.
They have who they report to. So, and that is, there are many factors that are restricting them from giving back to the society, and that is why if you are not in, you don't know what they are doing there, you think that they are doing nothing. Majority of them, even some of them that are ready to do, there are some power to be holding them back from giving back to the society. So that is one thing about the local government governance generally, especially in Lagos State.
Comrade Elijah, your take, and I would like to add one more question to you so that I can just do two of them together. What will you adjudge as pressing issues facing local government in Lagos?
Well, first and foremost, on the issue of performance of local government chairmen in Lagos, for those of us who are very much active or following the activities of governance at the grassroots with keen interest since the return to democratic rule in 1999, we agree that Lagos State is a pace-setting state. It is a role model for every other states across the country. without without sense of modesty, some local government chairmen have performed brilliantly. They have performed excellently. For instance, about 2 or 3 years ago, a health facility was commissioned in Amu-Odofin, led by Comrade Sheyi Valentine Buraimo. That's a facility, if such is replicated across all the local government, the 20 local government and the 37 LCDs in Lagos State, I want to believe that there will be less pressure on the state's teaching hospitals across the state. So, apart from Mahmoud, there are some other local governments that they've done excellently well, and that they should be encouraged that with the paucity of fund that they have been able to access, they have been able to use them judiciously for the greater good of the people. Of course, there are some local governments that they have done, poorly. Their performance have been very poor. I can't imagine the local government chairman that why you are serving the people, why you are serving as the local government chairman. That is when you now feel that it is time for you to go and pick up one chieftaincy title of your village or your town. Why serving the people? Why not? If you are really called to serve the people, you tell them, oh, as much as I value the recognition that you people have accorded me, I would want to defer this till when I leave the office. Then let's see if you leave that office, if they will still come and give you that the recognition that they say they want to give you. But they won't, but because they know that you have access to public fund, that is why they'll come and give what is not due to in view of the character, in view of the character, the person, the track record, and even the performance of such person in office. You come and give what is not what to such person. And then the other aspect, for instance, there is a particular local government in Lagos State, a local council development area, Orile Agege, led by one honorable Johnson Babatunde also. If I may be right, that local government went outside its constitutional provision by rehabilitating a secondary school. Lagos Government College and Opaja also. In fact, when I was privileged to, because that is the community that I grew up. So when I saw what this man, I said, a local government chairman, you need to visit the secretariat, the administrative office of that LCDA. It is like a 5-star hotel. That is the administrative block of that council. And there's some other councils and some other local government councils like that. Without casting aspersion or criticizing or denigrating the host local government, the main local government of that Orile Agege, which is Agege local government. You can't compare Agege to Orile Agege.
Let's not.
I wouldn't want to.
Let's hold on, but at least we've had an insight to what we're talking about. So, and that brings me to ask this question, and I start with Chinedu from Surulere Watch. I want to ask: do you think there's enough confidence between local government officers and the public?
I don't think so. That is why, and most of the time you find out in this that during local government election, there is so much loss of interest. People don't come out to vote. And there are so many factors to it. However, if our electoral system, for me, I feel local government will begin to function well, especially at this time that they are beginning to gain so much relevance, because a lot of people are becoming politically aware about the essence of local government and the administration. One, they are getting more money now. Secondly, they are moving into, probably now, from my own assessment, I call it partial autonomy. I hope that when they get a full autonomy, because full autonomy begins and starts from the electoral system, where you begin to take away the umpire of the election from state level to federal level, where people can begin to have confidence in who becomes their local government chairman. Because in this situation, the people are shortchanged.
Mm.
At most times and most of the local governments are not the people they actually intend or people they wish to be the local government chairman that turns out to be the local government chairman.
Mm.
Because there is always one hierarchy somewhere that decides the fate of the people while sitting either in his bedroom or somewhere even at ridiculous as a beer parlor and say this is the person that will govern the people that are supposed to, because every growth community, every growth or every potential growth of a state starts from the local government.
Mm.
Even as they say, election is local or politics is local.
Mm.
It means to tell you that everything about governance starts from the local level. So for me, the confidence can only be built if the electoral system, that is by granting full autonomy, because all we have now is financial autonomy where they get money. But even if you do the financial autonomy, haven't done that, the people that you are going to put at the ends of affairs, do they have that autonomy to spend that money?
Mm.
Because like my colleague said here now, that so many things restrict them from performing. And I agree. Sometimes the person who is bringing them as their mentor or as their godfather would decide on how the money will be shared. I have, which I wouldn't want to mention the local government. I have an example of a local government that, as long as the jack drops, the godfather would decide from rather her house and say in fact she has the alert on her phone. Once the money drops, she knows the money has dropped, and they will call the chairman and say, come, this is what I want you to use, and this one you keep it for me. How would such local government chairman perform?
Progress.
Mm.
So these are things that hinders, and even at that, when the local government chairman is not performing, how do you expect the people to have confidence in such election? So that's I don't think
That's a good one there. That's a point you have made. Now, the election is fast approaching. Let's look at the area of security, Mr. Bolaji. Uh, how do you rate the security architecture of local governments? How effective has it been?
To be honest, the security generally we know how the security is. Now, the local government officials, the local government chairmen, I don't think they have that ability
Mm.
to secure the needed security.
Mm.
But I think the state government is supporting, but still, we do not get it right.
Mm.
Now, for instance, we are in the technology world.
Mm.
Everything we do should be based on technology, but we are not there.
Mm.
Security, when we are talking of security, how many local governments have CCTV to catch whatever is going on in their local governments during the election? How do we think the ability, the capacity of those security agencies we have, are they up to the task? No. So all this, the security folks, I don't know if the local government people are having the enough security folks to take care of the security during the election. It is only because we are enjoying the goodwill of people. Because people nowadays, you can see that majority of people do not even go out to vote. So because they know where the election is coming from, they know the end results already, they know the results already. So they don't bother to come out to vote. So there is no rancor, there is no fight, there is no any challenge of a security issue in the local government election. So that is why they enjoy this election as it comes.
So, Comrade, do you think the local government can manage the security position during this forthcoming July 12 elections?
Well, having observed so many elections, I realized that they've never been issue of inadequate security. There's always adequate security. But most time people, we or some people are being apprehensive that it is not safe, it's not that. There's never, there has not been any election in this in Lagos where there's been violence, except pocket, very few where, and those in those and if I thought there is any case of violence, it is usually being induced by politicians.
Do you agree to that, sir?
No, I completely don't agree. When you mean election, except it's narrowly to local government. And you see, if you say local government election, and I'll tell you the only reason why there's no violence, because there's no opposition in local government. The reason is that we all know, this is, to be fair, this is not only about Lagos, Nigeria generally. The party at the ends of affair is the one that conducts and decides who becomes what, whether local government chairman up to the level of councillor. So they sit in a place and write the result. So most oppositions don't even get interested in contesting. So that is why it looks pocket free, violent free, because just like my friend said, nobody is interested. All the people want is, okay, you want to, okay, go ahead. But when you talk about the general election, of course we are around, we monitor election, and we see it is full of violence. You hear ballot box snatching, you hear killing, you hear intimidation, you hear coercing. So I'm talking about in Lagos. I'm not talking about everywhere, because I've been covering elections in Lagos in the last 20 years. So there's a lot of violence when you talk about national election. And why is it that? Why is it so? Because there are strong oppositions. There are people who have that support base. And most of the time, because of the difference in opinion, it becomes that clash. But for local government election, there's no opposition. And this coming election, in some areas, there's even no other opposition, no other party that is interested in contesting.
So, okay. You want to say something?
Exactly. In addition, what I wanted to say, that the reason we enjoy the privilege of not having violence during the local government election is that we don't have strong opposition, as I said. That's exactly what I wanted to say. Now, assuming we have strong opposition, you in fact, all local government elections will end up in violence,
Yes.
in killing.
Okay, so let me say this: strong opposition. What about the process? Now, in the general elections, you find out the use of technology. You understand, beavers and that. Would that be applicable to this local government election, this one that is coming? Should it be applicable? Will it be applicable? Let's start from you.
You know what? I said it earlier, that the process, the electoral process, should be looked into. For us to have credible candidates, for us to have credible winners, even the electoral process, for us to have interest, we need electoral overhauling. Because from selection to election, to the process of election, from the rumor round town, the names of people that will become the next chairman of the incoming election is already known in the last 1 month. And eventually to scale through. So,
So if there's an introduction of the beaver system and whatsoever, do you think the opposition will have a way or a say?
First, the electoral system has to change. Even if you do the beavers, so to speak, how much more do the people trust that beaver that is coming from the state?
Comrade, what do you think?
Well, one thing I know is that you don't throw a baby away with its water. It's bare, it's with a bath water. Yes, we may not have a perfect electoral process at the moment, but the reality is that we are better off than what we used to be, or what it used to be in 1999. It's a gradual thing. All over the world, even in the developed countries, there is no perfect electoral system. So, but I want to believe that LASEC should have borrowed a leaf from INEC, and they should be able to replicate the standard that has been put in place by INEC. Their failure to do that, then it shows that they are not they're not progressive. That is my take.
Okay, that's a good one there. So let me ask this, Sabolaji. Where across Lagos, you have said there's no violence, there's also, but should in case, where do you think there might be flashes of violence during this coming election?
Anyway, as it is going, because today the APC is doing its primary election today, and if you pass through Acme where they're doing it, so you see heavy security there. I believe during the main election, such security will also be deployed, especially in some areas. There are some areas in Lagos State which people always where people are scared when election is coming. But I think with the new security architecture and the preparation by the state government, and with what they are doing now, I don't think there will be any. But nonetheless, I think those areas, I don't want to mention some of the areas, but those areas, I think the state government is taking care of that. And by God's grace, probably we'll see change. We believe there will be no violence during the coming election.
Okay. Mr. Chinedu has always talked, really Watch has always talked about reforming the electoral process, So what measures can you suggest to strengthen the electoral process in Lagos?
Okay. Given the idea might not be particular with Lagos. For me, my suggestion is that if there is already an autonomy for financial autonomy, there should be equally an autonomy for the electoral process. Now, what do I mean? Although the National Assembly is doing something about that, setting up a national body that will be running a local government election with technology. The kudos to the former governor of Kaduna State. He's the only one that have tried using technology to do local government election. And then before he decided to do that, he said a lot of his members were coming to him and say, Governor, do you want us to lose in all the local government? He said, yes. Even if we're going to get only one local government, he tells us that that's the only local government we have our strength. And it will prepare us to do more for others. It means, because he takes it as a scorecard, which is supposed to be, because they say every governance is local. If we have interest, if the people at the grassroots are okay, I feel that it will curb a whole lot of things. Robbery, all manner of, it will curb them. So what I'm trying to say is that if they go digital, and more importantly, being done by more trusted body, there are names that have reputation. There are names you mention, and once you say, this person is in the board of conducting the election, even if they decide not to make it national, and say there are names you mention in a state and say, this person is part of the people conducting the election, already that will just boost the confidence of the people that this kind of person might be difficult to compromise. And such names should be co-opted into the body and make it digital.
Comrade, is Lagos ready for an election, local government election?
Well, very well. Lagos is center of excellence, and with the engagement from the states, the state engaging critical stakeholders for sometimes now. I want to believe that Lagos State is ready for the election. And on the issue of violence, I personally have been partaking in election monitoring since 2011. Incidences of violence have been, has been reduced to barest minimal. If at all there is, people are just being, there's this psyche, this mindset that, oh, there is violence, or there will be violence. So to me, I for one, I've never experienced violence while going around observing elections. So Lagos is a peaceful state, very people friendly, and I want to believe that Lagosians will come out and cast their vote for.
So is Lagos ready for the election?
Anyway, if Lagos is not ready for election, because I know Lagos is being controlled by APC, with what we're seeing, with what is going on, if Lagos is not ready for the election, I don't think there will be primary election for APC.
So Lagos is
So
ready.
Lagos is already.
Lagos is
And,
ready
and I
for the
think there
election.
will be, yes,
Is
Lagos is
a
ready.
one-party state?
If Lagos, of course, that's an obvious question. Lagos is a one-party state, but if you are asking if the Lagos is ready for an election, for local government election, they've always been ready for local government election, and reason is because it's a hands-on state. It's a hands-on state. For Lagos, they are always ready and planned for whatever they want to do. So they are ready. But Lagos is a one-party state
And I
at
beg to
the
differ.
moment.
You beg to
I
differ.
beg to differ. Yes, Lagos is not a one-party state, because the present Lagos State of Assembly members, there is one. I think there's a female there.
About
That is
two
there are
of
two.
the,
there are two. That is not of the ruling party. So Lagos is not a. It's not a holistically, or it's not entirely a one-party state.
what I want to understand there is that one party is dominating in Lagos State. So that is it. So
Why?
we
Maybe
cannot
because they do their homework very well.
exactly.
And
So
other opposition parties are not
the
doing their
opposition
homework, or they are
parties are
silent, or
not
they are
strong.
quiet,
Exactly.
or they
So
are nowhere to be found,
So
or there are
it's
no aspirants.
it now
in
seems as if Lagos is one
parties.
party state
States. Thank
because
you.
other opposition parties are not.
And probably with other conditions that are seen and unseen.
Where
So
the
we
unseen
don't-
conditions?
Seen.
At
No,
least you have a minority leader at the Lagos State of Assembly.
no, the unseen conditions might be just like we said. For me, process.
Thank you very much. On this note, we come to the end of this edition of Lagos City Pulse. And like we have read, process, the electoral process is what needs to all we should look at. And Lagos is ready for an election. So on this note, we'll come to an end of this edition. We want to thank everybody for being here as Lagos gets ready for its local government elections. And we at Lagos City Pulse will continue to bring you the pulse of the states to our people across the grassroots. Thank you very much. My name is Yomi Adejumo.